Welcome to Chamber Exchange, a TV show. My name is Tim Murray, President and CEO of the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank our sponsors who helped make the show happen, Bank Hometown, and for the last several months, the Worcester Railers Hockey Club. They concluded their season, and we look forward to professional hockey returning next fall at the DCU Center. And congratulate the team and organization for another successful season. Thrilled to have with us on this segment Peter DeCaro, who is the CEO of Resinate, Inc. Peter, you are kind of at the cutting edge of an industry that has really blossomed, I say that literally and figuratively, here in central Massachusetts, and that's the cannabis industry. And we want to maybe hopefully get into that a little bit, but maybe you could kind of talk a little bit about Resinate, its history in Worcester, and where things are going.
I'd love to, and thanks, Tim, for having me on today. So, it's an interesting story. In 2014, I was diagnosed with renal cell carcinoma, with cancer. And I was actually running another manufacturing company. And when I went through this process of the diagnosis and working my way back to health, I realized that through that process, I learned a lot about opiates, and I learned a lot about the application of opiates for people that are going through these types of conditions. And I felt, once I got back on my feet and I was healthy, I thought, I quickly realized that going back to my previous work life was not in the cards. Like, as somebody who's focused on wellness and self-care, I thought I needed to find a way to help address this pandemic, this opiate pandemic that we were experiencing at the time. So I decided, I looked into the regulatory environment, and I said, okay, this is my platform. Like, this is the direction I need to go in. And I felt that being from Worcester, born, raised, went to college here in Worcester, I've always believed that Worcester has some of the best and brightest, and I thought I need to bring this mission and this story of wellness and healing and the power of this plant to the local market, to our local community. And I set forth I did the research, I did the hard work, I read the regulations. At the time, it was kind of the Wild West. I joke with people now, I say I feel like I'm a grandfather in this business, because it was quite the journey to get started. So I read the regulations, and I went down the path of building what was nothing short of a state-of-the-art facility, here in the area.
And I want to get into that, but for our viewers who may not be as intimately familiar as you, or to a lesser extent me, but you mentioned kind of the regulatory reference and also kind of the process. And there's been a process unfolding that has unfolded in Massachusetts over the last 10 plus years, which is kind of similar to a national or state-by-state conversation about cannabis, medical marijuana, recreational marijuana. And so you had a medical challenge, and the timing of that conversation went to a new level, right? When the voters in Massachusetts voted to allow medicinal use marijuana, and then that changed and expanded to recreation. And how did you navigate that, and how did you kind of start?
The idea for us was always to start medical and to maintain our focus on patients, because we really feel that anyone that's using cannabis understands that this plant just has too many medicinal benefits to it. When the recreational market opened, we realized that it would bring a larger base of consumers to the market. And it wasn't just a business opportunity for us to do it. We looked at it and said, a lot of those people that are coming and looking to acquire cannabis for recreational use are still looking to treat themselves and are still looking for relief from anxiety and other types of conditions. So, we looked at that as a team. We looked at that market, and we said, well, if we're going to do this, the concept of Resinate came out of this idea that we were always going to be a premium cannabis company. We wanted to put out the best that we possibly could, but we also wanted unity. We wanted to build an inclusive environment where anyone from the ages of 21 to our grandparents that are in their 80s and 90s can feel comfortable to come in and talk about cannabis use. And that's why we looked at the recreational market, and we said we need to be there. We need to be all-encompassing, because in order to promote this message, we really needed to attract all audiences.
Now, when the ballot question went through on recreation, I mean, in the city of Worcester, it won by a very strong margin to allow recreational use marijuana, very similar results in much of central Massachusetts. And to some extent, Worcester in particular, Leicester as well, jumped out early to put in regulations in place compared to other municipalities across the Commonwealth, and as a result has been kind of come to be known as the cannabis capital of Massachusetts, central Massachusetts. So some real money and investment taking place in job creation, and I want to talk a little bit about that. You've got 2 facilities that you put significant amounts of money into in terms of rehabbing and making secure, welcoming. Maybe talk about that process.
Well, I'll tell you, the decision for me from day one was to open in Worcester. We've seen the transformation, but I've always felt that we've had some of the best and brightest minds in the world. But when you look at Massachusetts, and you look at the city of Worcester, you look at the college environment, it was always positioned, I think, for this type of progressive launch. Yep. The industry came in and the city got behind it, and frankly, I feel that the city did an amazing job. I feel like the community rallied around it. So we were always from day one planning to be here. And it's really interesting to see what's happening now. I think that this city is a very desirable place to live. I think that the leadership here in the city has been outstanding. We're seeing, again, such a transformation with minor league baseball and all the expansion of the Canal District, and all of these great things happen in the city. So I believe that it was a logical step for the Cannabis Control Commission to come here and for people to look at this area.
Yeah, great point. When the law passed, the Cannabis Control Commission was formed, and its headquarters is here in Worcester at Union Station.
And I'll tell you, I drove out to DPH in Boston back in the day, submitting applications and going through that crazy process. But to see them move here, I think is great. I think it's symbolic that the city of Worcester is doing great things, and the community is a phenomenal community, and it's great to see that they've rallied behind this industry. And
in the industry, itself, I mean, there's how people can access, cannabis, a lot of different forms, depending on issues and needs. I mean, it's really become a very, particular market-specific opportunities and choices for consumers.
It has, and we take the position that it's about responsibility. And I mean that in terms of consuming responsibility, but I also believe that as an operator, it's our responsibility to make sure that our consumers and patients they have the ability to acquire the medicine properly. They understand how to take and how to properly dose themselves. And that's the thing about cannabis. A lot of people I feel are still kind of dipping their toe in, and they're trying to figure it out. And for us at Resinate, it's really about how do we help our consumers and patients to achieve the desired outcomes that they want. Some people are there for treatment of debilitating conditions. Other people are there for stress and anxiety. And it's really critical that we make sure that everyone obtains the desired outcome that they're seeking.
Got it. Your locations in Worcester, and I just would say that, as the various dispensaries have come online across the city, in these neighborhood business districts, they have really enhanced kind of in terms of the look and the reinvestment in storefronts. And your 2 locations are where?
So we're located at 1191 Millbury Street in Worcester. We have a second retail dispensary in Northampton, 110 Pleasant Street. But our cultivation campus is in Douglas.
Okay.
And we're very proud of that cultivation campus. And we're proud to say that we are 100% locally owned and operated. So, for us, we recruit our talent from the market. We build, we bring people in with no experience, and we teach them the right ways of doing things, because again, we feel that Worcester just has the best and brightest.
And Peter, if there's a website someone wants to go to?
iResinate.com is where you can find us. Yes, and our social media handles are ResinateMA as well, if you'd like to find us there.
Great. Well, Peter DeCaro, who is the CEO of Resinate Inc., thanks for being with us and talking about this new groundbreaking industry.
Thanks for having me, Tim.
Good. And thanks for being with us in this segment, but we're coming right back for next guest on Chamber Exchange, the TV show.
These days, you've got your hands full in life. That's why we help you bank simply and securely with tools like Face ID and Touch ID. It's why we make it easy to make purchases on the go and get cash back while you're at it. Why we help you quickly deposit checks wherever you are. And it's why we lend a hand with sending and receiving money right from your phone. So even when you're on the move, you can manage your finances. Bank Hometown. Unlock your potential.
This is Radio Worcester. Local talk, local news, local events. We got it, and we've got opinions that you're going to want to hear.
That Worcester will be thought of and spoken about.
We're live every morning, 6 to 10 a.m., and if you can't catch us then, you can find us online day and night at radioworcester.com. This is your town. This is your morning show. Talk of the Commonwealth with Hank and Ben.
Worcester, a city with heart, history, and promise. A hub of innovation in life sciences, education, and healthcare. Home to multi-generational families, first-generation citizens, and next-generation baseball and hockey greats. Home to great parks, world-class museums, theaters, and restaurants. Worcester, the place to visit, to invest, and to call home.